And the truth is, when it comes to getting better, it's funny when you can see people doing things in their day-to-day lives which are very ordered and organized, but when they come to jiu-jitsu, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's my free time. I don't want to think. I don't want to be organized. But if you can be process-oriented, which is when I show up, I do my warm-up, I bring my water bottle, I do all these things, even though that seems boring, that builds to success. So if you actually want to be good at this thing, you get focused on the little things in the day in and day out in the process. And just know that winning and losing are, either side of the coin, the yin and the yang, of a process of development. And that losing to a white belt, even though you're a blue belt, that might suck. You got to go, that white belt is on one and I'm having a bad day. And then on another day, you might be kicking ass and you're a blue belt and you tap a purple belt. Well, maybe they were having a bad day, you were having a good day. There's so many variables there that you need to be able to step back from the emotion of it and I'm a blue belt and the ego and the attainment and go, what is this process? And understand that blue belt is just a step within the process of getting good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to conceptualize it in my mind, but there's when you start jiu-jitsu, I've spoken about this before, there's a short-term aspect to a short-term perspective that you have. And that is, James and I started at the same time, 2 months ago, so we're probably going to get our first stripe soon. And then,
together,
and then that's happening. And, but so-and-so was already here, so they've got 3 stripes.
They're better.
And then someone gets their blue belt and you're like, why didn't I? Or you get yours and they're like, why not? And as a coach, and I don't coach a lot of jiu-jitsu, but I've had a lot of these conversations where people are like, I haven't been showing up. I need to get, so-and-so got their stripe. I need to get my stripe or their blue belt. And it's like you're looking at every single session and every minute of the day and how do I stay on par with these people? You get to my level, 13, 14 years of jiu-jitsu. I've seen people go from white belt to brown belt in the same amount of time that I've had my brown belt.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just don't give a f***. I'm like, wow, how about that?
Good for you.
Because I could, if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, I almost quit a few times. And so you're as you get further down the path, that whole micro observation of the timeline is just obliterated. And all of a sudden it just becomes about you and your journey.
That's right.
And I think that at that blue belt time, for most people, not for the people who have been 10 years of white belt, but for most people it's pretty early on in the piece for them, they're still looking at that micro timeline.
Yes.
And so you're expecting rapid progressive growth and you're still comparing yourself to your training partners day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I think kind of what you're getting at is don't worry about that. You have to take this long-term view, which is essentially looking at the process and applying yourself to that. I'm just going to show up, keep training, do my best, be consistent. That's the goal. Yeah,
I definitely agree. But this is where I want to move from something which I guess we all know in our hearts, but it's not the sexiest thing, We want rewards. We want dopamine. We want to feel like we're getting better. All of these things. The difficult thing with this is as you get better, others get better. And if you train at a hyper-competitive gym, and I did, I was training at Absolute in St Kilda, very intense environment with the pros. If you take a week off, you come back and everyone's doing something new. You're like, what's this new thing? Oh yeah, we were just talking about this and everyone drilled this and now this is a new part of the paradigm. You're like, God, I'm playing catch up. And even if it's a month off, it can be like that. You come back and people that you were beating multiple times and now they're kicking your butt. And this is the difficult thing. It doesn't mean that you're that much worse. It just means they have improved whatever. And the problem with this is the expectation versus the reality. We expect if we as individuals show up the same amount of time every week, put in, and I don't know what you're doing outside of training. You don't know what I'm doing. For us, we do. But when you're looking across the room at another person of the same rank, you're not built the same. You don't learn the same. There's going to be different
lives,
different outcomes.
Yeah.
They've got a kid. You don't have a kid. They're 21. You're 38.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation might be, you need to understand that not all belts are the same and your expectation has nothing to do with the reality. So I think this is important that your expectation of what a blue belt is, and then you get it, is very different to what the reality is. And the reality is the glory is short and the hard work is long. So, and I'm not trying to talk you guys out of this, right? Because we all understand, if you're listening to this and you've done jiu-jitsu, you've had your blue belt, maybe you're creeping up on your purple, and you're a blue belt who has not quit, you know what I'm talking about. You're in now, you know you want to take that next step to graduate towards the purple belt. You know that it's going to be similar. You get the purple, now all the blue belts want to smoke you. Now all the white belts want to smoke you.
Brown belts are a little bit fearful of you, so they're going
man,
harder.
I don't want this purple belt coming up on me. And black belt's like, there's no way I'm getting tapped by a purple belt. So you're stuck right in the middle. So if you're taking that step from blue to purple, it gets even harder. But that said, if you have cultivated a process for just, improving yourself, working on your own technique, and not getting caught up in this expectation of, oh, I should be better, I'm better than them, this comparison game, that is super important. And it's like, as soon as you're just focused more on how you're going and just, am I getting better, am I learning? That's the key thing. Not, am I better than them? Am I better than me 6 months ago? And if you can say yes, then you're on the right track.